Channel 1, Channel 2, 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 Channel 1, Channel 2.
Tonight on Star City News.
It was a busy morning for Lincoln Fire and Rescue as they responded to 2 separate fires across the city.
President Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, pled guilty to making false statements to Congress regarding the Russia investigation, which could have major implications on Trump's presidency.
And it looks like more winter weather is expected this upcoming weekend in the metro. What are Lincoln's snow removal crews doing to prepare for the storm?
All that and more coming up on Star City News.
Good evening and welcome to Star City News. I'm Scott Ayers.
And I'm Abby Stonehawker. Winter in Nebraska came early this year, keeping Lincoln's snow removal crews on their toes. But how do they prepare when a new snowstorm is always around the corner? Here's Star City News reporter Grace Harmon with more on the story.
Thanks, Abby. Well, it may not be snowing yet, but Lincoln City crews are already preparing, not only for this weekend's storm, but for the upcoming winter season. On Sunday, the first snowstorm of the year hit close to home, prompting citywide school cancellations.
I think some of the side roads were slicker, and that's also the problems we run into sometimes with that rain beforehand. It can be, it gets that little bit of layer of ice when the temperatures start dropping, and that's a little harder to take care of. But
now, ahead of the second round of storms this weekend, precautions are being taken.
Over the next 24 hours, we'll keep monitoring the storm, see if we can get the timeline dialed in a little bit better. Again, we're supposed to get that rain beforehand, before the snow.
Laughlin says that while the plan is to pre-treat the roads, the forecasted rain makes it difficult.
So it'll be really of looking at the temperatures, where the temperatures kind of get cold enough where stuff starts freezing, switches over to snow, and then just making sure we have enough people lined up to handle that.
In a Midwestern city that's approaching its peak winter weather season, Lincoln's snow removal is prepared for the upcoming months.
Making sure all our materials are stocked up and making sure everybody is, getting prepared for the season personally and professionally.
But Laughlin says the best thing for everyone is to stay off the roads.
Traffic and public driving is our main obstacle while we're out there. I just like to reiterate that drivers should give us some space. We're out there to make it easier for them to get home, to get to the store, to get to work. Our job is to make sure they can travel safely and just give us a little bit of room while we're working.
For Star City News reporting, I'm Grace Harmon.
Well, Abby, it looks like we can say goodbye to the warm weather we had last week.
Yeah, Scott, Lincoln better get its snowplows ready for the storm we see coming in this weekend.
Let's get right to Jess Chamberlain. Jess, when should we see this nasty stuff?
Precipitation-filled Thursday we have had, but enjoy it as we will see plenty of freezing rain and snow starting tomorrow and through the start of next week. So say goodbye to the sun for now as we have cloudy days on the way. Temperatures tonight won't be too bad. 32 degrees is our low, but we will dip into the teens with the 10-mile-per-hour wind chill starting Monday. Coming up later, we'll take a look at what to expect for the weekend, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
One of the 2 people accused in the killing of Sydney Loof pleaded not guilty to a charge of first-degree murder today. Bailey Boswell entered her plea in Saline County Court today. She and Aubrey Trail are accused of killing and dismembering the Lincoln native. If convicted, both could face the death penalty. Boswell and Trail are being held without bond.
Lincoln firefighters are still investigating the cause of a house fire a few blocks south of 78th and O Streets. It happened around 9 this morning on North Hazelwood Drive. No one was home when the fire erupted. It caused extensive structural damage, and firefighters rescued 2 cats from the one-story single-family home. Tonight, firefighters are also checking reports from neighbors that an explosion may have preceded the fire.
Usually by this point in the year, soybeans would be moving to ports on the West Coast, and their final destination would be China. But this year is different. China stopped buying U.S. soybeans after President Trump put new trade tariffs on China. That has left farmers with nearly 1 billion bushels of beans they can't sell at a profit. Trump created a one-time $12 billion program to compensate farmers for their losses. But even with those payments, U.S. farmers will fall short of breaking even.
Still to come on Star City News.
The car company Honda is recalling over 100,000 Odyssey vehicles due to a problem with sliding doors opening while people are on the road.
The Nebraska Health Department confirmed the first case of acute flaccid myelitis on Wednesday. We'll have a report on what this means for you.
Aspects of this disease that I think are worthy of pointing out is that we don't really know the cause of it.
And finally, the Nebraska volleyball team is just 2 days away from beginning NCAA tournament play. Our own Amanda Acevedo will have more later on in sports.
All that coming up on Star City News.
Live from the Anderson Hall Broadcast Studios in the College of Journalism and Mass Communications at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, this is Star City News.
There's lots to see and do at the University of Nebraska State Museum. Be sure to visit our new temporary exhibit, The Museum Builders, which explores the history that led to the building of the University of Nebraska State Museum. Accompanying this is also an escape room, which features the history of fossil collecting in Nebraska. For more info, visit museum.unl.edu.
Fast Forward, a variety show written and produced by broadcasting students at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. We have many comedy sketches, some informative segments, and a couple opinion pieces. Check us out weeknights at 5:30 on LNK TV.
Since 1990, the Mary Ritma Ross Media Arts Center has served the University of Nebraska-Lincoln with independent film from across the country. With live theater broadcasts, Q&A sessions, and local film festivals, the Ross offers exclusive events year-round. So drop in, grab some popcorn, and watch some of the finest comedies, documentaries, or thrillers. For any movie genre you prefer, the Ross has got it covered.
At the Nebraska History Museum, there's over 12,000 years of history under one roof. Learn about Nebraska before it came a state, what it was like to live in Nebraska during the early years of statehood, and even see unique artifacts only on display at the Nebraska History Museum. The Nebraska History Museum is open until 5:30 Monday through Saturday and is free for everyone. With ever-rotating exhibits, you'll never run out of history to learn. Visit the Nebraska History Museum at 131 Centennial Mall in Lincoln, Nebraska today.
Welcome back to Star City News. 4 people are in custody after a traffic stop led to police to a hotel room. Our own Aaron Hunter has more on this story. Still to come on Star City News.
The car company Honda is recalling.
Early this morning, Lincoln police pursued a traffic stop near Northwest 12th and Adams Street when the officer noticed a Ford Taurus with fictitious license plates. Driver Richard Mattinson was driving with a suspended license, and passenger Jessica Klingman was carrying 28 grams of meth on her and admitted to having more in a nearby hotel room.
And as the officer spoke to him, he observed a digital scale in the car and saw Klingman trying to conceal something in her waistline.
Both were charged with intent to deliver. Additional officers later dispatched to the nearby hotel room where they came in contact with 2 more parties. 38-year-old Destiny Johnson tried escaping by jumping out of a hotel window, but officers were able to detain her quickly. As for the other occupant, 40-year-old Kenneth Buckingham locked himself in the bathroom with a knife and refused to come out.
Buckingham said he knew he was going back to prison for a long time because he had recently been found guilty of a felony, and he'd rather have officers kill him than return to prison.
Buckingham was eventually detained after officers had to deploy a dose of pepper spray and 2 taser attempts. Reporting for Star City News, I'm Aaron Hunter.
The first case of acute flaccid myelitis has been confirmed in the state of Nebraska. Star City's own Braley Gilbert is live in the newsroom with more.
That's right, Abby. Health officials have confirmed a case of AFM in eastern Nebraska. Acute flaccid myelitis, also known as AFM, officially has a confirmed case in Nebraska. Although the symptoms of AFM are similar to polio, officials are telling people to not confuse it with the polio illness.
Every time we get specimens from a case to test, we look for polio. It's not polio.
Dr. Thomas Safranek says although a case in Nebraska has been confirmed, they want to be careful about raising the concern of AFM.
It's not a common condition. We have one confirmed case in Nebraska for the 4 or 5 years where we've been looking for it.
There is no cure as of right now, but Dr. Safranek says they are working on finding an infectious agent in this illness.
We are right now doing this intense surveillance and investigation and research. When we have a reported case of AFM, we are trying to get immediate diagnostic samples collected and get those to the best labs in the country.
Dr. Safranek says if you notice any of these symptoms, to contact your local healthcare provider.
If you notice that your child is weak or has trouble moving an extremity, and this is not a common occurrence, but if you notice that, you ought to get an evaluation by a healthcare professional.
Since it was first discovered in 2014, there have been 440 confirmed cases in the United States. This year alone, there are 116 confirmed cases of AFM and 170 possible cases under investigation. Reporting for Star City News, I'm Braylee Gilbert.
There are some new developments that could have a big impact on President Donald Trump and the Justice Department's Russia investigation. Donald Trump's ex-attorney Michael Cohen pled guilty today for making false statements to Congress about the Russia investigation. The incident took place in 2015-2016 when Cohen made a statement about a Trump Tower deal in Moscow. This could be a huge impact on the Russia investigation and what the future holds for the president.
Well, if Mr. Cohen misled the Congress about the president's business dealings in Russia deep into the campaign, it also means that the president misled the country about his business dealings.
This guilty plea comes a day after President Trump said that he would consider a pardon for former campaign chairman Paul Manafort, who was convicted of 8 felonies and pleaded guilty to 2 more with connections to Russia. With Cohen, this could ignite a greater spark on an investigation that's been swarming the president since his inauguration. The ongoing circus in Washington never ceases to excite, and a mess at the Capitol.
19 leaders of the world's largest economies are in Argentina for the G20 summit. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Trump were scheduled to meet, but Trump abruptly canceled the meeting today.
Trump canceled his meeting with Putin based on the fact that the ships and sailors have not been returned to Ukraine from Russia. However, Trump tweeted, he does look forward to a meaningful summit. Trump won't be meeting with Putin, but he is scheduled to talk with the Chinese president. We are in a trade war with China, but now China has turned sandbars into islands, resulting in a territorial dispute. China has been building artificial islands, and the U.S. said China needs a clear signal that the island building needs to stop, and China's access to those islands is not going to be allowed. A lot could unravel this weekend as the leaders of the world meet and discuss their biggest concerns.
We have a major recall to tell you about tonight. This one involves the Honda Odyssey. Honda is recalling close to 108,000 minivans in the United States because there have been cases of the sliding doors opening when the van is moving. The rear latches on the doors sometimes stick too, which keeps the door from staying closed. No reported injuries at this time. 2 months ago, Honda recalled 1.4 million vehicles for defective front passenger side airbags.
Lincoln sports fans are looking forward to some exciting matchups this weekend.
From basketball to volleyball, the buzz is growing here in the city. Amanda Acevedo has more at our first look at sports.
That's right, guys. Nebraska basketball is coming off a big road win against Clemson and is going to face Illinois at home on Sunday. Then I'll talk about tonight's Saints-Cowboys matchup for some Thursday night football. And finally, I'll talk about the Husker volleyball team playing Hofstra for the first round of the NCAA volleyball tournament tomorrow. That's all for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
So Jess, am I going to be making snow angels this weekend?
Well, we will be seeing 1 to 3 inches of snow on Saturday and Sunday, so Abby, it's possible. But first, we will get some rain showers tomorrow night, possibly an inch. That could freeze overnight if temperatures get low enough. But be prepared for wet, snowy weather through Monday morning. I'll have a full look at this week's weather coming up next, but for now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Jess. Coming up on Star City News,
Amanda Acevedo will return with more on sports.
But first, we'll be right back with Jessica Chamberlain to give us her full weather report and what's in store for the weekend.
You're watching Star City News.
Libraries are more than just books. The Bennett Martin Public Library is a place for the whole community to take a break and read, or use technology. It's especially a place for our children to play, learn, and read. We offer spaces that help children learn to read and then love to read. Family story times and summer reading programs help establish the reading habit. Please support libraries as they help children grow into lifelong readers and learners. For more information, please visit lincolnlibraries.org.
We understand. Sometimes you need to stay late on campus. We also understand crime rates are higher at night. That's why UNL is taking care of their students by offering the Husker Safe Walk. It's a free walk-in escort service that can be requested at any time while on campus by calling 402-472-2222. Call 402-472-2222 if you feel unsafe or would like to request a Husker Safe Walk.
Fast Forward, a variety show written and produced by broadcasting students at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. We have many comedy sketches, some informative segments, and a couple opinion pieces. Check us out weeknights at 5:30 on LNK TV.
If you're feeling hopeless, depressed, or suicidal, you're not alone. If you think that your life isn't worth living, then you need a second opinion. Local trained counselors right here in Lincoln are here for you. Call the Centerpoint Crisis Response at 402-475-6695 or call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. Suicide is a permanent solution for temporary feelings. There is help. There is hope. Make the call.
Welcome back to Star City News. A cloudy one here in Lincoln today. We reached a high of 39 and have stayed in the mid-30s most of the day. Tonight should be precipitation free and temperatures won't get too low, looking like about 32 as our low tonight. Now taking a look at your 5-day forecast. Tomorrow will be cloudy again with a 100% chance of rain in the evening. The rain could eventually mix with freezing rain as the night goes on. Saturday, we will see some snowfall. About 1 inch is expected with a high of 36 and low of 29. Sunday, we will see the worst of the snow at 10 to 20 mile-per-hour winds out of the north. Monday, we will see the temperatures drop down a bit. There's a chance of showers in the morning, but as the night rolls around, we will be precipitation free. Now turning to your 7-day forecast, Tuesday could bring the sun back out in the afternoon, but don't get too excited. Temperatures are looking to be quite chilly. A low of 13 degrees that night. On Wednesday, we are looking at a high of 24 and a low of 15 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Similar conditions are also expected on Thursday. So we've got a lot of cold and pretty not so great temperatures coming in for the weekend, so I would be careful when you guys are driving because it's going to be pretty icy out there on the roads.
But it is perfect weather to stay inside, maybe have some hot cocoa, and just stay warm.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a Christmas movie marathon that weekend.
Abby, that sounds great.
It does. Well, that'll do it for weather, but still to come on Star City News.
Amanda Acevedo gives us the full rundown on sports.
And one shoe store had some fun with customers posing as a luxurious brand. More to come here on Star City.
Located in room 340 of the Nebraska Union, the UNL Women's Center provides a welcoming space full of resources. Their dedicated staff are here to help. Open to all genders, they offer various programs, including free confidential counseling available to UNL students, faculty, and staff. Take advantage of their resources, get involved as a volunteer, or just stop by to check things out. The Women's Center, at the intersection of gender and your life.
The Capital Humane Society's Pylock Pet Adoption Center, where you can find your next baby girl, your next Erin, or your next furry animal companion. Each adoption comes with spaying or neutering, microchip registration, and a health exam that is included in adoption fees. So stop by the Capital Humane Society's Pylock Pet Adoption Center, located at 70th and Highway 2, to find your next furry friend.
We have a new University Health Center, now including the UNMC College of Nursing. The new and improved University Health Center offers everything in one place, including a full-service pharmacy and physical therapy. If you're feeling stressed, talk it out with counseling, or relax and unwind in the all-new Zen Room, now located at 550 North 19th Street.
As part of their Simple Living campaign, Sustain UNL wants to teach you to make your own compost for gardening. Making your own compost is as simple as throwing uneaten fruit, vegetables, bread, and eggshells in a pile and letting nature do the rest. Try turning your pile once a week to aerate it and add it to your garden before planting for the best effect. To learn more about living simply, visit Sustain UNL's Facebook page. Sustain UNL, creating a sustainable world through activism, education, and service engagement.
Welcome to Star City News Sports. I'm Amanda Acevedo. Following Monday's victory over Clemson, the Huskers are looking to make another big win at their first Big Ten Conference game of the season on Sunday against Illinois. The Huskers pulled off a 2-point win over Clemson on Monday, making their record 6-1. The Huskers will face Illinois at home on Sunday, which will be their first Big Ten Conference game this season. Just last season, the Huskers lost to the Fighting Illini 57-73, being only one of the 4 conference game losses for Nebraska. Then the Huskers go on to play their second conference game at Minnesota on Wednesday. The Huskers beat the Golden Gophers by 10 last season, who are currently 5-1. And finally, the Huskers will face the currently 6-1 Creighton Blue Jays at Pinnacle Bank Arena Saturday, December 8th. The Blue Jays are set to host first-ranked Gonzaga this Saturday. The Huskers lost 65-75 to the Blue Jays on December 9th last year, but are looking to change things around when they face next Saturday. Now let's take a quick look at the upset the Syracuse Orange pulled off over the number 16 Ohio State Buckeyes last night. Going into the game, the Buckeyes were undefeated with a 6-0 record, while Syracuse was just 3-2. Syracuse kept it close in the first half, going into halftime 29-31 Buckeyes. Syracuse began to pull away with a 7-point lead with around 9:26 left in the second half. Jalen Carey made 2 free throws with 29 seconds left, and the Syracuse Orange were able to get the rebound from Ohio State to end the game 72-62. The Huskers are the current NCAA volleyball champs and are looking to hold on to that title. They will play their first round game tomorrow at home against the Hofstra Pride. The 7th-ranked Husker volleyball team swept Ohio State and Maryland to end their season with a 24-6 record. The Huskers will join 6 other Big Ten teams in the NCAA volleyball championship and will begin their journey tomorrow. The Huskers will play the CAA champions Hofstra Pride tomorrow at 7 p.m. at the Devaney Center. The Arizona Wildcats and Missouri Tigers will face off earlier at 4:30. The winners of each match will face off Saturday at 7 p.m. Next, let's take a look at some Thursday night football, where the Saints are set to take on the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. The Saints are currently and have been sitting at the top of the NFL power rankings with a 10-1 record. Things are starting to look up for the 6-5 Cowboys, who are slowly moving up in the power rankings and are currently sitting at number 12. Both teams are coming off Thanksgiving Day games with wins. The Saints beat the Falcons 31-17 for their 10th straight win. Meanwhile, the Cowboys beat the Redskins 31-23. The Cowboys are currently tied for first in the NFC East and are looking to beat the Saints to move into that top spot in their division. Linebacker Reuben Foster has been claimed off of waivers by the Washington Redskins, but that isn't coming without some controversy. It has been a busy week for Reuben Foster. Foster was claimed by the Washington Redskins on Tuesday after being arrested on Saturday for domestic violence charges, which occurred just 2 days after being released by the San Francisco 49ers.
All right, the first matter up today is on page 48. Reuben Bourbon Foster.
This was not the first time that Foster has been arrested. the first time in January on possession of marijuana, again in February for suspicion of domestic violence, and then on Saturday for more misdemeanor domestic violence charges. The Redskins are facing large backlash for claiming Foster with the domestic violence charges against him, even though head coach Jay Gruden says they just want to get to the bottom of what happened, and that there's no guarantee that he's ever going to play in Washington. Foster faced a 2-game suspension earlier in the season for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. Upon Foster's domestic violence arrest in February, he was charged with a weapons offense and misdemeanor drug offense. Since the Redskins are facing such large backlash, maybe it will make a change for hiring players with criminal backgrounds in the NFL. Now let's take one last look at what's coming up this weekend. The Huskers face the Illinois Fighting Illini Sunday at Pinnacle Bank Arena at 4 p.m. Then they'll play the Minnesota Golden Gophers in Minneapolis at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, December 8th, the Huskers will face the Creighton Blue Jays at home at 5 p.m. Nebraska women's basketball faces number 5 Louisville tonight on the road at 6 p.m. Then Husker volleyball, they'll face Hofstra Pride at 7 p.m. at the Devaney Center tomorrow. Arizona will play Missouri earlier at 4:30. The winners of each game will face off on Saturday at 7. Moving to the NFL, the Saints take on the Cowboys in Dallas at 7:20 p.m. tonight. That's all I have for sports today, but keep watching. Still more to come on Star City News.
Libraries are more than just books. The Bennett Martin Public Library is a place for the whole community to take a break and read, or use technology. It's especially a place for our children to play, learn, and read. We offer spaces that help children learn to read and then love to read. Family story times and summer reading programs help establish the reading habit. Please support libraries as they help children grow into lifelong readers and learners. For more information, please visit lincolnlibraries.org.
At the Nebraska History Museum, there's over 12,000 years of history under one roof. Learn about Nebraska before it became a state, what it was like to live in Nebraska during the early years of statehood, and even see unique artifacts only on display at the Nebraska History Museum. The Nebraska History Museum is open until 5:30 Monday through Saturday and is free for everyone. With ever-rotating exhibits, you'll never run out of history to learn. Visit the Nebraska History Museum at 131 Centennial Mall in Lincoln, Nebraska today.
There's lots to see and do at the University of Nebraska State Museum. Be sure to visit our new temporary exhibit, The Museum Builders, which explores the history that led to the building of the University of Nebraska State Museum. Accompanying this is also an escape room, which features the history of fossil collecting in Nebraska. For more info, visit museum.unl.edu.
If you're feeling hopeless, depressed, or suicidal, you're not alone. If you think that your life isn't worth living, then you need a second opinion. Local trained counselors right here in Lincoln are here for you. Call the Centerpoint Crisis Response at 402-475-6695 or call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. Suicide is a permanent solution for temporary feelings. There is help. There is hope. Make the call.
And finally, we are talking about a not-so-luxurious shoe store.
Payless Shoe Store ran a social experiment by opening a fake luxury shoe store called Paylessi.
Paylessi invited influencers to the exclusive party in Santa Monica, California. These influencers spent anywhere between $200 and $600 for a pair of shoes.
Payless then told them the shoes could be found at their own store for as low as $19.99.
The influencers did get their money back and left with free shoes for their troubles, but many were surprised these shoes were indeed from Payless.
These are actually from Payless. You've got to be kidding me.
And Scott, I have to say, this is a pretty brilliant campaign.
Absolutely, especially for people like myself. We spend maybe $50 on shoes. It's a great deal to go to Payless, get $20 shoes.
I honestly probably would have fallen for it and spent the $200 to $600.
I don't blame you. Thank goodness you weren't there. Thanks for watching, and tune in Tuesday for our final episode of Star City News. Until then, I'm Scott Ayers.
And I'm Abby Stonehocker. Good night.